This computer. Okay, cool. Okay, we just started. Malcolm, I'm so sorry. I'm sure you're watching. We didn't start recording until just now. We miss you.
It's nothing.
We're looking at Sam's MR. I think it would be interesting for us to go through and make updates, Sam, because I know you want this to be approved slash merged, hopefully in
Yeah.
time for the current release, which is 16.6. And we're just starting. This is the first release with our new timeline, right?
Yes.
So things have to be merged by this Friday.
Yep.
Okay.
That kind of surprised me.
Yeah. Because it's Friday and then the release goes out on Monday, or when does it go out?
Thursday.
Next Thursday. So Friday
Yeah.
is like the guaranteed cutoff, but you could probably get it into Monday or Tuesday. Yeah.
Maybe. Depends on the
Maybe.
release manager, right?
Got it. Okay.
Roll the dice
Okay.
on that.
Okay.
No.
Because the other thing I noticed here, just from like an MR strategy perspective, is that you have a audit event, which means you're going to need approvals from that team.
That's our team. That's fine.
That's fine. Okay. Because I had an MR where I actually removed some audit changes earlier today because I didn't want to deal with approvals from your team.
It's fine. We're nice.
Okay. Oh, I know, but like it's like if it's blocking, right? Like
Oh,
my
yeah.
thing was that I wanted it merged quickly, and so I just thought I would do it separately. So anyway, so
Yeah.
you're not worried about that. Or not, it's not this, which is the change. It's
Yeah, I'm not worried about that because we already had the auditor class and it's just adding another like basically column that tracks it. So
okay.
it's pretty straightforward. Otherwise, I
Interesting
probably
this
would have left it off
sorry.
for a follow-up. Huh?
Oh, sorry,
I was just saying
Abubakar.
that it is interesting because this MR includes SAML, but does not require approval from authentication team.
I noted that as well. Yeah. And I think that it's because it's not, it introduces a new controller. Like this controller should potentially be owned by auth, like in code owners. Maybe, I don't know. Or I guess is it owned by code review? I guess it's owned by code review. But yeah, this doesn't touch anything that's like super auth specific. Oh, maybe SSO helper. Probably auth should be a code owner of SSO helper. So maybe we can add that as a to do separately to add that. I don't think any other files in here were screaming. Like obviously it's a very auth oriented MR, but a lot of the code is in other places. This was the typo, Sam, that was causing your.
I love typing require. Never a day where I don't do a typo in require
Oh my
or
gosh.
receive.
Are there other files in here, Abubakar, that you think that auth should be code owners for? I can open them. Over here. I think so. Just SSO helper, probably. Not approval service. Okay. Wait, let's just go through and look at the comments really quickly and just see expand all threads.
Sure.
And all files. I'm
It's
trying to
also
get in.
tricky, right? Sorry. So I
Sorry?
was just saying that it's tricky to have the code owner just based on the file names because when we have the logic and the since the education is coupled with almost every service in the GitLab, and then if you are changing some logic related to that, even if you are not touching, for instance, if you are not touching the SSO helper here, even then it actually makes sense to have that auth review.
Yeah, I think SSO helper should be. Are you saying that other methods should be tagged as owned by auth or something? I don't disagree that auth should review this. And Sam intends to have auth review this. The question is just, can we enforce that with the feature tag? Like given that most of this stuff is happening, for example, like this is merge request widget. That's kind of like a generalized. view.
Can we also tag based on the wildcard file names? For example, if the file name includes SAML, then you should get the review from or something like that.
Oh,
Else
I
yours
see
won't
what you're
find.
saying. I see what you're saying. So we could do like a fuzzy match for code owners. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, I think so because we get the review for the token. I mean, if the file name include tokens, we get review even if the token does not include. I mean, the
Okay.
authentication team. So
So SSO should be added. I guess SSO is hard because like SSO could show up. Like if you had a thing called like association that has SSO in it. Um, so there might be a lot of false positives. We could try that for sure.
Or check with
for
underscore
not
SSO
the SSO,
underscore.
but
Yeah.
for SAML, I think it makes sense.
SAML, but there's nothing here with SAML in the name. Well, the controller, but that's I think it actually makes sense to have the code review team own that because it relates to approval rules. But that's up for debate. Maybe Auth should own that controller. Sam created it, but maybe he doesn't own it. His team doesn't own it. Okay, let's go through this. These are all view things. Is it bad that I kind of just ignore changes in view templates when I'm moving for backend?
You can ignore them for now.
Okay.
It's probably for front end reviewer to
Okay.
take a look at.
So we're still in JavaScript land. Still in JavaScript
Lots of
land.
JavaScript land. Yes.
Lots of JavaScript land. Okay, and this is your new controller. So SAML approvals controller, render 404 unless merge request. And I did look into merge request finder and confirm that that does an authorization check to make sure that the user can like see the merge request as well. That's good. Merge request approval service. That's where really the action is happening here, where the interesting logic you added is. And then you were mentioning before that that approval service return nil if the approval doesn't work. It could be good here to give a little more information. I guess it's hard because we don't necessarily know why it wasn't approved, but for example, if somebody would end up here because they were trying to, well, no, they would never get here if they tried to approve via the API. Is that right?
That's correct. They only get there if they're getting the callback from the IDP.
Okay. So why
Unless
would
they
this
start
happen?
guessing URLs.
Like,
oh, the timeout could have happened, perhaps.
okay. Yeah, I guess we don't
That's
really
the
have a
only
better
thing
error message.
I came up with. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's that, or someone could have changed the approval rules mid-flight, like while they were
Oh wow. Okay.
going
Well,
off somewhere.
But,
Yeah,
okay.
it's pretty edgy, but possible. Yeah.
Okay.
It can also happen if if that particular user removed from the IDP or something like that. Any authentication changes from the IDP.
If they were removed from the IDP, then approval service would return nothing. Let's see.
Then they still have it as a session?
If they start
So
a session and then removed it, something like that. I mean,
Does
then in which case.
does the IDP return them to the callback even if they don't log in the IDP, if they don't have a session there, or?
oh, that's a good question. Would they be redirected? If they were removed from the IDP, they wouldn't have a valid SAML session, which you are checking in their SSO state. So this would return null. And this, oh geez.
That's a spec.
It's a test, yeah. This would return null, and so this would return. So this would whole thing would return null. So it would just be like either it's not in time or somehow the SAML auth process failed.
Yeah.
So I think that's fine. It's not the most actionable error message, but that's okay. We're just testing that. I guess that's one question I had here. So there's no feature flag here. Um, did you think about adding a feature flag? Do you think it's better just not to? I know there's always a lot of like pros and cons to feature flags.
Um, I didn't think to add one here necessarily. I thought of potentially adding one to enable this setting for groups, and ditch all the front end code for the settings, just to, if in case all that front end jazz is too long for the review process. But so far I didn't think of adding a feature flag here. I would be basically guarding the line 13 right now, right?
Yes, it would be, well, all of this really, I think.
Yeah.
Or well, not this. This was already here. But you would,
that part was already there minus the,
yeah. So you do keep this, and then you'd say like, if feature flag not enabled, do the old thing. If feature flag enabled, do the new thing.
Yeah.
And so the settings could still exist like on the group, etc., like the front end, but it would basically be a no op.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because if you add a feature flag, like I don't know, is there pressure in terms of your timeline? Like you want to get this done. It's not considered released if it's behind a feature flag. So would that mess up your
that
release timeline?
Yes, that, and also there's been a lot of discussion lately on default enabled feature flags for releases. That because self-managed has some weird quirks with that when we do that.
Yeah,
Switch a tag around and stuff. So
yeah.
yeah.
It's more, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you have to or that you even should. I just was wondering. I mean, Abu Bakr, what is your perspective on that as an off team member? Or when if you were to review this after me, would you be concerned there's no feature flag? Would you think it's fine?
I'm actually in both sides because as a developer, I mean, it's very difficult to have a feature flag, and especially when it's actually both for front end and back end side. I mean, it's easy to have a feature flag on front end, sorry, back end, but for front end, it can be a little difficult. And also the managing timelines and all. But it depends. I mean, I haven't gone through this MR in detail, but if I think there can be a potential security consideration for performance consideration, I might ask for adding a feature flag. I want to ask one more thing. So basically, you mentioned about self-managed. Did we actually tested with the SAML for self-managed and then SAML for SaaS because they work in different way?
Yep, that's interesting too. Yeah, because this, I think what you're referring to, Abu Bakr, is that well, group SAML is an option for self-managed customers, but it's more common, I think, to use instance-wide SAML. So is that a requirement, or is that something that you thought about, Sam? That's definitely some auth super knowledge there.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, I check it on the root ancestor group.
Yeah, you do. But the question is, are there plans to do this for instance-wide SAML as well? To
I'm
make
not
that
sure about the
option?
timeline on that.
Okay. So the requirement was for group SAML, not for instance-wide SAML.
Requirement was first for groups. Yeah, for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So mostly this will be interesting to SaaS customers then in the short term. That might be a good thing to follow up on. Let me save a comment for you so we don't forget that. Infinite scroll.
Yeah, that also means that regarding the feature flag, we don't have to for the self-managed customers, they don't use, most of them don't use the group SAML, so the feature flag thing is not a big issue though.
Yeah. Thinking about both self-managed and SaaS is always twist my mind around. Okay, that's something that doesn't block this, but that's something to let me comment. Well, I'll say suggestion. Obviously it is a comment, but what kind of comment? A suggestion. So that might be good. I also find sometimes, like, I don't know if product was the one to define this requirement, but sometimes they also forget to think about both. And then after you do one, they're like, oh wait, but we wanted both. Oops, you didn't tell me. So I didn't do it.
Well, we
That
better to
happened
do it in
multiple times for
iterations anyway.
SAML.
That's happened. Yeah, that happens for SAML a lot in particular. I've noticed because the group instance divide is like they're quite different features in a lot of ways. Okay. So let's see what else we have here. So 5 seconds, I guess we're not concerned. I would like maybe suggest just making it like if 5 seconds isn't like the government regulation number, Sam, like if you just think it has to
No.
be like like why not just give them a minute? I don't know. Or
Because
I don't know, 30 seconds or something.
Can we just try to comment I mean, where we have 5 seconds, like for regulation or whatever it is.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I missed the first part of what you said, Walker.
I mean, can we just add a comment and I mean,
Okay.
where we have the timeout?
Suggestion, add a comment about why this is 5 seconds. Answer, it is arbitrary. But product is asking for like reauth. So having a piece is good. Okay. Suggest tone. Suggestion. Okay. Great. And so approval requires SAML auth. I had never seen. Oh, this was also a non-blocking comment. Just like you go into the project to call this method, but then when I looked at that method, like it then from the oh wait, no, that's a different. From the project, you have to call group root their ancestor anyway. Like it's not really a thing on a project, it's a thing on a group.
yeah,
So I was like, well, you could just put it in the merge request itself and make the merge request reverse to its parent, or you could like put it on a group. I don't know. Just a thought. Like it's kind of weird to put it in the project, like in the middle of the two things.
yeah.
And so
We put
putting it
all those
there.
settings on project. If you expand the context a bit on there.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, we have all of those in there.
Okay, interesting. So maybe that's just following the pattern, which is fine.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess it does call self here on project.
Just keep it consistent because
Yeah.
maybe if we want to put it on project level sometime later, it's probably not a thing with SAML, but if it does, it would resolve. Like it tries to see like, is this a project setting? Is this a group setting? Is this mandated from higher up? That's basically what the resolve always does. So we start on project there.
And this is another this is bringing up another interesting comment about what Abu Bakr mentioned before, which I'm going to add, which is, and if this were for instance SAML, it should be an instance-wide setting, right? Like it would be kind of weird to have this on instance SAML, but then to be like, well, you'll set it for each project. I mean, maybe you would, but I can also imagine customers being like, well, we want it on everything, right? Like if they want it on one thing, they probably want it on everything, especially if they have instance-wide SAML. So That's another thing in your future, Sam, unfortunately for you.
Maybe.
Maybe. What do you mean, maybe? The customers
Maybe,
demand it. The customers
maybe this gets
demand.
handed off. No.
I know it's already caused you a lot of pain.
Yeah.
This whole
No, my,
whole
my
thing.
understanding was that it probably would get handed off to another group because this isn't exactly all compliance related that much. Like the requirement to have this sort of is, but the code ownership doesn't necessarily make sense for us to do it.
Is the group you're going to hand it off to? Does their name rhyme with authentication?
Maybe, or yeah, it's either
Okay.
that or it goes to code and review, or what is it called?
Code review workflow?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I didn't know that was a team until I saw the somewhere. Code review workflow. I always think of just create code review, but okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm not so good at mapping feature categories to group names and vice
Yeah.
versa.
Well, I do encourage you to write something up about the instance wide thing, because as Abu Bakr was alluding to, as soon as somebody sees that, they might be like, yes, obviously we want that. So not that you'll have to do it, but just, I
Yeah.
didn't even think of that when I first looked at this. And then now
I
this
need to
conversation
check
brought
if
that up.
that's already an issue somewhere in the
Yeah.
roadmap or not. Yeah.
True. Okay, so where were we? This is the problem with these larger reviews. I get lost. Like, I'm like, where am I? Okay, so let me comment on my comment where I said, response based on conversation. We check for lots of settings like this in so click me. Great, resolving. Incorrect approval password. That was already there. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Audit event. You don't worry about that. This is a get because it would be a callback. This is the typo you need to fix.
Yes.
Slow guy. I did at first. I was like, "Oh my gosh, no tests are failing." I didn't run any tests, but the tests are failing, so you have plenty of test coverage. Okay, and then this is the feature spec.
Yes. That cost me a lot of nerves.
Oof, I'm sure. And we don't require them to SAML auth to revoke, right? That wouldn't really make sense.
No, we don't.
Cool. Okay. SAML. It is possible this could result in flakiness in terms of if this test runs slowly, but I guess we'll wait and see if that happens.
One of the bots already commented about it might be slow sometimes. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
The linter made me do that.
Yeah, I don't really understand what this is. It's a schema for the API.
Yeah. It's but like I don't know
okay.
why. I guess that's the new linting rule. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Auto
interesting.
corrected it like that. Yeah.
Okay. Great. These are JS specs that I already decided I don't want to look at. Or I did look at them.
There's some helper specs as well. Yeah.
Helper specs, merge requests. That was a really small change. SAML provider enabled. This is pretty basic. Look at you using parameterized tests. So nice. Great. More parameterized tests. I don't know if I honestly truly love parameterized tests, but they are
I don't.
more compact.
I kind of hate them because they're hard to read. And you have to, especially as they approach like 5, 6 parameters, it gets really weird in your head trying to read them all.
Yeah, totally. I agree. And sometimes I've noticed it results in like testing combinations that would never actually happen. Because you
Yeah,
just like try to
that's
do
the
all
other
of them.
point. Yeah. Does all of them, and you're like, this isn't a thing. Why is this? No.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Like I'm like, oh, do you need like false, false, true, false? And I'm like, well, probably not, but I can't really think of that right now. So just trust process.
yeah.
Without project, okay, because in some cases a merge request doesn't have a project. What would that be?
What was my rationale on there?
Is it because it's a group setting?
Yeah, I
Not
think so. Yeah, it was
okay.
a group setting. This is the resolver spec, right? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's a group setting, and it could be that it doesn't. The column isn't on the project settings, so
Yeah.
project could be nil in that case. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Well, great. I can't say I've ever looked at a resolver class before. I didn't even know we had those, so it's good to know those exist. That seems like a compliance thing. Y'all are
Yeah.
into resolvers. Great. Well, I'll wait for you, Sam, to fix the typo before I approve it, but everything else seems fine. So yeah, I'll let you do
All
that
right.
because otherwise I won't. If I did it, I won't be able to approve it. And then I'll pass to somebody on us, maybe Abu Bakr, see what your roulette's looking like. Might be overloaded.
Haven't looked yet.
Okay. Great. And you're gonna need front end too?
Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna be working on tidying up the specs for the front end because I didn't put specs in for everything yet. So I need to
Okay.
jump on that. That's the plan, to get that through today, and then fingers crossed I can get through the feedback tomorrow.
Great.
I just went
Great.
to the original Epic for this one. I see that there is only one customer request there in the comments, and that's for self-managed.
Okay. But are they using group SAML? Can you tell if they say group SAML or instance SAML?
I mean, it's unlikely that self-managed customers using group sample. I mean, it was not encouraged. I mean, but even though we have a documentation in a tiny place, it's not something we encourage people to use, and it's very hard to configure for self-managed.
Yeah. Well, that's really good context to have. And yeah, it's tough to say. Like, obviously, this is already working for group SAML, but also maybe we should check with product that this actually meets the customer requirements, especially if it was. Oh, sorry, Sam.
Yeah, on the Epic, there's a customer that's self-managed, but I also know of others that are on SaaS. Seen that come through Slack. Should probably be also mentioned on the issue, but or on the Epic at least.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Let's see. Cool.
Cool.
Where's our review dashboard?
Agenda. Review dashboard. Oh, you're looking for somebody who is from
Yeah, it's
off?
not a lot of me. Yeah.
I have a handy link for you. Copy. Notion logged me out right as I was copying my handy link. I have and the getting to. You can't hear anything, Alan Walker? Can you hear me, Sam?
Test.
Yeah, I think he dropped. I think he might have.
Yeah.
I think he has internet issues sometimes, or I think that at least this is an internet issue.
Yeah. It sounded a bit cut off sometimes, the audio. It's probably bandwidth issues.
Yeah, I just logged into Notion with the wrong Gmail account. Let me
Are we
give you
still
my
recording?
I think so.
Okay. It's not showing the record for me.
Yeah, I just. Oh, you're back. It's connecting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now it's showing it for me.
Okay.
Screen updated. Nice.
Abu Bakr, you're muted, but we saw you say that you couldn't hear us right before you left. Can you hear us now? Hello? You're muted, so. Notion doesn't work today. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let me give you my handy link. Do you both have like documents that you just keep all of your handy links? I feel like we all have one.
I throw them all in Notion. Usually.
Yep, same. So auth approvers.
Or
That's
not Notion, but Rome. Almost the
That's how
same
you
thing.
find the list of auth approvers. It's not a roulette link.
Auth approvers by group.
Yeah, that's just the only
Nice.
way that you can get the list of all the auth approvers. It's
The
like hard
roulette
to
should
find it.
add what group they're in. That would be very helpful, wouldn't it?
Ooh. I mean, yeah, where's the code for roulette? Could we add that?
I knew once. It's at the bottom. GitLab org GitLab roulette.
Oh yeah.
Still have 20 minutes. Maybe we can.
I know. Can we do that in 20 minutes with the power of 3 brains? Sorry you can't hear Abubakar. We also cannot hear you, but you're also muted. We can hear each other. No, but this group thing is interesting because bye. Hope to see you again. Come back. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't dive into the whole roulette thing, but I do find that it's difficult to know who the auth approvers are, and that's why I have that link bookmarked.
Yeah. Good to know. So it looks like either Abubakar or Smriti, but Smriti already
Okay.
has 4 MRs on her.
Or Bogdan. One thing that's interesting is like Drew Blessing. Wait, no, Backend. Like there's this weird thing where people in roulette will put themselves as red, but then they're like, oh, but I'm still open to reviews. And that has been my experience with Bogdan usually. When I want an auth review from him, he's like, yeah, I would love to do it. And I'm like, well, you're red.
Yeah. He's on PTO though. Yeah.
Oh, he is. Okay. So not Bogdan. Or Drew Blessing also does that sometimes. Drew, if you're watching. No, he is 5. Wolf, that's too many. But also the reason some people like sometimes I really will dig in because some people have many because they don't unassign themselves from things even after they've finished reviewing. I don't know. But anyways.
I forget that sometimes.
Yeah. It's like, and sometimes the person's gonna bounce right back to you soon. You don't want to unassign because you don't want someone to pull your like this morning I unassigned a few and then I got 6. I was like,
yeah,
great. Thank you, the world. But
yeah.
Other times it gets confusing.
Yeah, when I think the person's gonna turn back to me like in a couple hours, then I'll just keep it on there.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Well, do you want to work on your changes together? I guess you don't really have many. You just have the typo and you want to add some tests, but we could look at them together.
Yes. Well, most of my tests are going to be front end, so it's going to be.
Well, we love to do front end pairing and back end pairing.
Exactly. So let's see. I can. Where are my windows? Come on. Oh my God. I'll just reload the MR. Thank you. Now it's showing. Thank you. How does it sometimes get out of sync, but not everything? I don't understand that.
What does?
Like when you have an MR open for a while and then you see some of the changes someone's made, like I know you made them, so I know they're there, but I don't see all of them. And then I reload. Of course they're there, but
like the comments I made, or what kinds of changes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the comments you made.
I don't know. Does it live reload?
It's my impression that it sometimes does. Maybe I'm hallucinating on too little sleep. I don't know.
I'm always be reloading. Yeah, you messaged me on this MR like not that many hours ago, and then you went to sleep, and then you came back.
Yes. I need some coffee.
Oy. Did
It's
you want to
still too
share your
hot.
screen? I don't see your screen.
I haven't shared it yet. Hold on.
Okay.
It's gonna be too tiny. I need to move things to another screen first. Where? I love it. Every time I wake this Mac from sleep, it sort of jumbles around which window everything is on.
Really?
Yeah, it just randomly does that certain times. Other times it's fine. Sometimes it forgets which resolution the main monitor is on.
Yikes.
Yeah. I thought that was over with Silicon Max, but it's back.
Have you upgraded to Sonoma yet?
Yeah, I have. I haven't installed the update yet, though. That can happen at the most awkward times. I turned that off.
You turn this one off? I was doing this one yesterday to Luke because his son was on the call.
Nice. It's great when it works like intended.
Yeah.
I saw one horror story of someone giving condolences for something, and it just for some reason popped up balloons in that moment.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the horror.
But it is cool to be able to be like, I don't like what you're talking about, and this is what happened. Pretty cool.
There's my bubbles. There's my zoom.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. So many consts.
Where was that fun type of approval settings?
So when someone makes a code suggestion, do you usually not? Oh yeah,
The
there it is.
wiry.
Make it.
It depends if I want to.
UIRE.
If I want to rebase something or not, or like squash
Yeah.
something together.
Mhm.
It's called rebase. Yeah, it's called rebase.
Yeah.
Like interactive rebase. Sometimes
Mhm.
I'll do it there and then fold it into the previous commit, so it's not a junk drawer of commits in the MR.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the thing you actually have to do. I don't know what other feedback was like required or even actionable. Maybe like putting a comment on 5 seconds, just so we know.
Where was that one?
I think it's an approval service, but it might be in the same. It might be in the SAML controller too. I can't remember SAML approvals controller. EE merge request. So your third result there.
EE, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
How do I write this? Jeez. Pros.
Like
Where's GitLab do when I need them?
arbitrary short period of time to ensure that SAML reauth happened right before approval.
Yeah. Oh, I love that word.
Unsen? Oh.
Oh no, I switched to
Oh no. But you also have the word Chunsen before arbitrarily.
Oh jeez.
Why is your text editor not helping you out? And that's like the whole point.
Yeah, I think I turned spelling off for Ruby for some reason.
Oh.
I should turn that back on. It was with Z equals. Oh yeah, that's the one.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah, Z equals, and it'll give you the dictionary matches it finds for the word. That's
to
I think the
ensure
default
that.
setting.
Oh, okay. What's that? And it says chosen with one O, not chosen.
No, that-
It's a valid word. Well, actually, I don't know if chosen isn't a valid word.
I've never heard chosen. But English spelling is weird anyway, right?
Maybe instead of this, you could just say 5 seconds or something. Like, I don't know if this, it's obvious in this, if I'm reading this comment, what this means.
Oh, yeah, okay. Five.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I need more sleep.
Yeah, you do.
Why is
Take a nap.
to ensure the user needs to just have reauthenticate to approve. To approve or
Sure,
to be
good.
able to approve? Whatever.
I think to approve because we call this is approval service, so they're actually approving.
Yeah.
Shrot instead of short. Nice.
Grace period for the callback from the identity privative process. Sounds good.
Looks good. One question just as I'm looking at this is, so is this require password to approve? You can't have those turned on at the same time as the SAML required?
Well, the SAML is supposed to supersede it.
Ah,
and
okay.
We're not going to show the password dialog if you already have SAML enabled. It would be weird UI-wise to do both, sort of.
Yeah, I can see that. I just was looking at this logic. So if they have SAML required, so we only care about incorrect password if they have SAML auth not enabled. So that's why you have and not required.
Yeah.
SAML auth. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other way around, if they have if SAML auth is required, we don't want it to keep continuing with the password. So
is there a test that looks at both of those are enabled for approval service? I didn't.
There should be in the approval service, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Approval this one.
Yeah, it's the 5th result.
Wait.
EE spec services merge request approval service spec. Yeah, one up. Yeah, there you go. That one, right?
Just need to look for the simulates there. Yeah. So when it's trying to use the correct password, it works. When it does not change the approval count when the SAML is enabled. So even if you have the right password, you're not going to approve when SAML is on.
Got it. Right. Cool. Great.
Yeah. And then there's one test for if you're within the timeout and one if you're not. So basically testing if someone's just calling that because they know the URL for some reason, or hit the browser back button or whatever. Make sure it's
Yeah.
out of time.
Yep.
Okay.
And remind me what you said about if somebody if this setting is enabled and somebody tries to approve via the API, it will just not let them do it.
It will return this, nothing.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll say like, no, didn't work.
Okay. But they won't. Yeah, they won't know why. Yeah, we should
Yeah.
improve that later for sure. That'd be better.
Yeah, that is definitely something we need to follow up on
Mhm.
like two fronts. But yeah, I would love for the API to also check the service response, and that we use service responses so we can say like why. Like I would love to return service error, no, your SAML auth is too late, or no, it's the incorrect password, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like the same way with incorrect password. Right now we have the same sort of problem. If someone just tries to like what is it called, quick command approve, and we have the password setting on, they'll also be like, nope, didn't work. But you don't know why,
But you
right?
don't know
Because
why.
you can't supply a password in the quick setting. You shouldn't be typing that in the comment field.
I thought that we had a linter somewhere that ensured our service classes return a service response.
Yeah, I was very irked when I saw this as well. That's why I tried to change it. And I also did change this, and then the API specs just broke all over the place. And I didn't feel like fixing that was part of this feature. That was more of a follow-up. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That is actually initially why I pulled out the approval service. Because I was thinking, oh, this is breaking because if I'm returning a service response. How about I create my own approval service, and then but as you correctly pointed out, that opens a circumvention through the API.
Yeah.
That was such a why didn't I see this while I was doing it moment, but yeah.
With forest trees, it's hard when you're like
Yeah.
Like I often that stuff like instant SAML and all that, that's bitten me so many times where you're just like, well, I made it work in one way, but it's like it doesn't always work in all ways. But that's why we have review.
Yeah. Yep. It works. The review stuff. Okay.
Sometimes.
What else was there?
I don't know if there was anything else.
Let's see. Requirements. Oh, that GitLab sessions are valid for 24 hours. Would be
That was just that was more of a product question. Like, could we?
Yes, they want to reauth every time. Yes, it is a intentional burden. I think that one of the regulators for this is like the FDA, and I think the other is like healthcare services. Like when they change code, they need to have it be this way for audit logs. Yeah, I read the actual spec, and it's even weirder.
Oh,
I think it was written before the internet. It feels like they want you to type your first and last name in 2 fields, and that's like to authenticate that it's really you. Like, no one else could type your name in there, right?
Whoa,
No.
really? Yikes.
Yeah, it reads like it was written in the 70s or something. Yeah, maybe it was. I didn't check. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That reminds me, we got our flu vaccines yesterday here in Tokyo. It was like there was so much paperwork. And like at one point we like went in to see the doctor, and then he like asked us the question that the form already asked us, and then was like, okay, thank you. And then we went back to the waiting room, and then it's like all these steps, and you're like, all right, You all are really like it's like a high. I feel like it's a very high compliance society. So there's like always lots of steps to do things, even when they don't really add much to the process.
Mm,
Like when I get a vaccine at home, it's like some random civilian in the grocery
yeah.
store like just jabs me in the arm. And they're like, here you
Yeah.
go. It's like very orderly here, but also really it took 90 minutes. So it's really annoying.
Yeah. Which is also kind of weird that like anyone in a pharmacy can just give you a shot. Feels weird.
I assume that
Maybe
they're like certified like nurses assistants or something, but I'm not really sure.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of, I don't know. I'd rather get a shot at a doctor's office if there's something that doesn't agree with you, then at least you're in a doctor's office.
True. It's true.
Or be sure they're like they know how to poke a needle and sterilize it.
Well, that was the
before
funny thing. The
they're
guy like
poking through it.
measured our arms. He was like, like really measuring where to put it, and I'm like, usually they just go up here, but he was like doing a very specific. I don't know. He was
Maybe
only
they
following
want
a
you to get a
rule.
sore arm.
I know, and I didn't. Well, like a little bit, but not that bad. It'll be good.
Nice.
Nice.
All
Okay.
right.
Are we at our
Let's-
time? It's
let's-
3:59. But I think you're
Yes.
good. I think you're
We're
gonna
off time.
push this, and then I'm gonna approve it, and then you're gonna pass it to somebody an auth, and somebody. It looks like it needs front end too, but you need front end tests.
Say that again. That I didn't hear.
You have to
that,
pass
sorry.
it to somebody in both front end and auth. So do you want me to do
Yes.
that after I approve, or you're gonna do that?
Yeah, you can pass to auth. I
Okay.
didn't quite hear if Abu Bakr said he has capacity or not.
I don't think he made any
but-
promises, but we can ask.
He didn't. Yeah, you can pass it to him, and then I'll ask him specifically if he can
Okay.
do it or not.
Okay.
But the review dashboard does say 1 out of 3, so it should be good.
That's pretty good, but good odds.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he looks like, and it's only midday for him. This could be really great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad we got to
All
talk about
right.
this synchronously. It's always fun.
Yep, that's always good. It's always a little different when you can talk right about it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll
All
see
right.
you next week then.
Yes.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.